Okay, can you make some noise over there and get his attention?
Buddah. 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 Buddah.
Hey, come on.
Buddah.
Oh, geez, so far away from. How's that? Can you see him on the screen? Can you see him? Okay. Hey guys, this is Mitch again from Bruiser Bulldogs, and we're doing another stud review. One of our favorite studs here. His name is Buddah, and he is not wanting to behave, so you're gonna have to bear with me. But hopefully, you get a couple good shots of him. Anyways, this is Buddah. He is one of our top studs here at Bruiser Bulldogs, and I kind of wanted to talk about some of the things that we like about him and some of the things that we think he brings to our bloodlines at Bruiser Bulldogs. And yeah, just kind of wanted to kind of highlight some of the things that stand out about him. The first thing that you are going to really notice in real life is his massive size. That is the first thing that stands out. In the world of English Bulldogs, Buddah is huge. And I wish he would stand up so we can get just a look at how big his head is. He has probably the top 1, 2, or 3 head sizes. Just the circumference, the mass, volume, size of his head of any bulldog stud I've ever seen with a purebred English bulldog. Kind of reminds me a little bit on par of one of our other studs that we have right now is Bull. I would say him and Bull have 2 of the bigger heads, which is kind of something we go for, which we think is super important. Kind of with our aesthetic with and a bulldog that breathes really well, we want to make sure that we are pulling that nose out just a little bit. One of the things that we want to make sure and we're mindful of with our genetics is that by doing that, by having a little bit of a nose, that we don't turn our bloodlines into a boxer kind of look. And so that's something that we're always very concerned about, that we don't want our bulldogs to look like boxers. And basically what a boxer is a longer nose and a skinny face. The answer to that in maintaining the balance of breathability with a really awesome aesthetic is this right here, a huge head. And so what that does is that really provides a layer of balance with the look, where they can have a longer snout, but still look like when they walk down the street or you're taking them in front of other people, they still look like an awesome English bulldog. And so that's kind of why we prefer our studs to not only have, you know, on the profile side a longer snout, but then also that balance of just a huge head. And so that's the first thing you notice about him, is one of the biggest heads. And that does a lot for if we need to move in a direction where we say, hey, there's a female that maybe would pair well with him, that he can kind of correct and move that head size into that size that we really appreciate in the look of an English bulldog. The other thing that kind of stands out outside of his head is just his body structure. His body reminds me a lot, as far as just like actual size and or structure and length, of almost a Pumbaa, which is another stud that we have that we've done a review on. Pumbaa plus a lot of thickness, and so he's almost reminds me a lot of a Pumbaa structure in sense of leg structure and length, but just a lot thicker of stud. He kind of reminds me body type of more of like an NFL linebacker, where he has just muscle and thickness, mass, but then also has athleticism that would be fairly surprising for this size of bulldog, and this kind of thickness. It has that athleticism that kind of pairs with it. Is he as athletic and does he have the endurance of like a Pumbaa? Probably not. But he has a really nice mixture where he kind of carries both sides, where he has a size that is really big, but then he also, is he going to go for a 3-mile hike? Maybe not, but he can definitely do a 1.5 miles. And so he carries an athleticism that's not normal within English Bulldogs as well. So kind of a unique combination: athleticism on one side, but then also just size and muscle on the other. Obviously, he has all the other health characteristics. You can kind of hear how he's breathing. Just really clean breathing. And that comes from his profile. Are you just going to take a nap this whole time? Kind of comes from his profile of having a little bit of a nose. And, his eyes are great. Doesn't struggle with the cherry eye. His nostrils, if we can get a shot of his nostrils. Here, sit up there. Just really wide open, huge nostrils. A lot of English Bulldogs struggle with stenotic nares, and he definitely doesn't struggle with that. He just kind of checks off all of the health parameters of a Bruiser Bulldog, but then just is really uniquely big for our bloodlines. And so the other thing that I kind of wanted to address that you wouldn't be able to see is sometimes I think in his pictures, and if you looked at him straight on, let's see if you can get a shot of him just straight on. Maybe you would use a little bit. I think he has a little bit of a look where he's a little bit fierce and maybe kind of has a tough, large dog look. And that's always interesting because that is not his personality at all. Like, he is a complete goofball. And so he has this really tough, fierce look, and you kind of see how he's acting. That is not him at all. He is the goofiest class clown that you could ever have. And it's always funny because he looks like a really, really tough bulldog, but he's not. He is, he gets out and just wants to play fetch, wrestle, horse around. Really good with other bulldogs. Has a really kind of easygoing personality. So that's always another great thing to have in your bloodline, is just bulldogs that can get along with other dogs and are easygoing and a lot of fun. He is a quad carrier, so he throws blues, he throws lilacs, he throws blacks. That's not necessarily something that we really care about, but it is fun. And I just think he has a pretty coat. His coat is super soft, which is a lot of times when you get into like those rare colored coats, coat is super soft, doesn't shed a ton. And I think that's basically now he's gonna look in the camera. That's basically who Buddah is. We're super excited. We've had him for a couple years now, and we're just super excited to keep him in our lineup as a really good contributor to our bloodlines. Thank you.